Okay,
Diversity is America.
all-
You cannot say
all of that is
that
true.
you
Hold on.
are America first if you do not care about half of America.
I care about them so much, in fact.
You care about them so much that you
hold
don't
on.
want to give them
I didn't interrupt you.
access
I care
to
about
equal rights.
Well, hold on. No one said rights. Hold on a second. No. I care about them.
It's equal rights. It's
Naima,
equal
let me
access.
finish. Let me finish. Now who's interrupting who?
Another day, another video, and it's Charlie Kirk going up against the woke predator, and I call her the woke predator for reasons you'll see in the video. I'm not going to talk too much. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you're notified when one of my videos come out, and let us get into it.
Hi, Charlie. Yeah, you're going to have to lower that one for me.
What's your name again?
Thank you. Naima, how are you doing?
Naima, it's been a while.
It's been a minute. How have you been?
Great.
That's fantastic. You did do that. I mean, you didn't, but Trump did. Yes.
The collective we, yeah.
Yes, the collective we. So speaking of Trump, I do want to talk a little bit about his policy on DEI. As you know, in his first weeks in office, he signed the executive order declaring that DEI is both unlawful and a threat to national unity. And I just kind of want to ask you to elaborate on why DEI is unlawful.
Well, based on the Civil Rights Act, which I have disagreements with, but based on the Civil Rights Act, which is the law of the land, it says you shall not discriminate based on color, race, creed, or origin of nationality.
Yes.
And DEI definitionally does those things.
How does it definitionally do those things?
So, for example, if you say you are going to hire a certain amount of people or have scholarships only for a certain people, you are then prejudicing against another group.
Which group are you prejudiced against?
White people, Asians as well. I mean, white people are an easy one off the top of your head. So, for example, in the Harvard admissions case, I said this earlier, the average test score for a black individual was around 1,300 SAT, about 3.2 GPA. For a white or Asian, it would be about a 3.9 to 4 GPA and about nearly a perfect SAT. So you are disenfranchising and stereotyping and prejudicing against whites or Asians in favor of blacks.
I don't even understand what's so hard to understand about all of this nonsense with the DEI and not just hiring people based on how good they are at the job that they've been given. People like this girl want to be given free handouts every time. They don't want to work for things. They want to complain about how they're victims, and then they want to be given free things based on their skin color, which is absolutely hilarious. I'm genuinely confused how we've come to a day and age where we're trying to hire people based on their race or their sex or whatever it is. It doesn't make any sense, but in today's day and age, there are a lot of stupid people who say stupid things and come up with stupid ideas. But let us get back into the video.
You're not prejudicing against whites or Asians, though, because DEI is not on a race basis. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion of all people. Affirmative action is what is intended to address racial inequality, but DEI isn't on the basis of race.
Well, so DEI is a project of the affirmative action movement. So one comes before the other. He signed an executive order against both, for the record, so I wasn't sure which one you were talking about.
I'm talking about DEI.
So DEI, it depends what we mean in practice. So I can give you one example. There are black-only graduation ceremonies at certain schools, or black-only dormitories.
But those are kind of student-led. I mean,
on,
I'm part
but
of a black-only
let's play this out.
organization, and
So-
it's run by students. It's not
Fair
through
enough.
the school.
Let's play it out. So if there is a black-only, let's pretend, which it's not, that building is black-only. If I said that, if that building was
I'm
white,
like the campus center?
no, I said let's
okay.
pretend it's
yes,
not.
hypothetically, yes.
Hypothetically, if that building was white only, you would agree that's a violation of the Civil Rights Act.
Yes, but there
Hold
are
on,
no buildings on campus that are black only and white only.
Well,
and by the way,
but there are on other campuses.
no,
though.
but in those dormitories that are like culturally specific, you don't have to be that culture to live there. They're not going to not allow you to be black to live in a black dormitory.
You would
no,
be, you'd be
Ujima at
surprised.
Stanford. White people do live at Ujima. That's not.
I don't know about that specific example, but if it says black-only dormitory.
But it doesn't say black only.
But okay, how about this? How about if we had? Well, it does.
It
Well,
doesn't. Where? Where does it say that?
Just to be clear, well, in the title. But let's
No,
pretend
but
it says
where?
black.
Like what school? Where does it say black only building?
Eastern Washington University, Portland State University, just off the top of my head, San Jose State University.
They say black only dormitory? And if a white person were to apply to live there?
It's a black affinity cultural space of which only black individuals are accepted and governed for black individuals. But can we have white affinity cultural spaces?
You can have a white affinity cultural space. The activity is, the issue is that you're saying black only. It's not black only. It's a black affinity cultural space. But anyone is invited if they would like to participate.
I would, first of all,
You cannot legislatively
I
allow
agree.
someone of any race to participate in
no,
something. That doesn't exist.
We agree. That's the spirit of the diversity, equity, inclusion order, is that DEI in practice, again, we have to go through example after example, is discrimination, prejudice, and
let's
segregation.
talk about DEI in practice. Let's talk about DEI programs in the workforce, because DEI programs in the workforce happen to benefit veterans, they benefit people with disabilities, they benefit people at an economic desperate, they benefit lots of people that is not just on the basis of race. And to me, it feels like you're conflating DEI with pro-blackness or black only, which is not the definition of DEI.
So let's take a high-profile DEI example. Is that cool? Just maybe one we can play around with.
Okay.
Which got me in a lot of viral trouble, which I don't care. Which is pilots.
I got in a lot of viral trouble too.
Hey,
I was debating this guy.
I
you know.
And he kept interrupting you.
He did.
I know, right? Which is this? Which is that, let's say DEI, a project of DEI at United Airlines, was that we want to get 40% of our pilots to be black or women of color, or women or people of color.
40%.
50. I'm sorry, to get up to 50. It was at like 6%. So therefore, they wanted to make a push towards that, and it was currently at 6%. We look at that and we say, wow, you're going to have to lower standards to get to that goal.
Why would you have to lower standards?
Whether you have to lower standards or not is irrelevant. DEI in practicality is going to discriminate against certain people based on the fact that you must meet a quota. For example, if it's a case that you want to hire 40% black people or 40% women, you're going to have to discriminate against men and other races in order to do that. It's really not rocket science, but of course with stupid people, they just can't seem to understand and grasp basic things. There should be no reason we're hiring people based on things they can't even change and things that they're born with, like their sex or their race. It doesn't make any sense. And when you do this, you are by definition going to be discriminating against other people. It's really not that hard to understand.
Well, because
are you saying that black people are inherently inferior?
I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying that black people are only 13% of the population. So you want 13% of the population.
Women are not 13% of the population. Women are 50% of the population.
Yeah, but women do not make up a majority of people that want to become pilots. In fact, the vast majority of women don't want to be pilots.
Maybe they would want to become pilots if the barriers for entry weren't.
See, that now we're going down a different but equally fun direction, which is male-female differences. Men much more likely want to be involved in heavy machinery mechanics. They want to be pilots. They want to be tank operators. They want to be police officers. Whereas women much more likely want to be, I'll get to you, Mason. Don't worry, and I remember your name.
Yes, can Mason go? They won't let him go because he's not
let
USC.
Mason go. I'll let Mason go. But just Mason, have some patience. We did this last time, okay? But do you understand, at least from our perspective, because it's no good for us to go back and forth again, maybe from our perspective, that we worry that the pursuit of diversity can mean the compromising of excellence.
And another issue that feminists like this don't want to acknowledge, and Charlie Kirk a little bit pointed to it, is the fact that men and women like different things. But for some reason with the feminists, they don't seem to advocate for women to be in places like bin men, and there should be quotas for more women to be in these jobs, or for them to be in the oil rig. They seem to always be fighting for them to be in these high paid and high status jobs, which is very interesting. They don't really care about diversity. It's all about supremacy.
Charlie Kirk, this country is diverse. You can't just say the pursuit of diversity is compromising excellence. Diversity literally just means difference. This country is 13% black, it's 14% immigrant, it's 1/5 of every person in this country is Hispanic, it's 7% homosexual, and 50% of the country disagrees with you.
Okay,
diversity is America. You cannot say
all of that is
that
true.
You
Hold on.
are America first if you do not care about half of America.
I care about them so much, in fact.
You care about them so much that you don't want to give them
I didn't interrupt you.
access to equal rights.
Well, hold on. No one said rights. Hold on a second. No. I care about them.
It is. It's equal rights. It's
Naima,
equal
let
access.
Let me finish. Now who's interrupting who? I care about them so much. I want the only thing that they're ever judged on is to be their character or their competency, not their skin color.
Okay, so you want it to be a meritocracy.
Yes.
So let's talk about a meritocracy.
Okay.
What experience does Kash Patel have to run the FBI?
He has amazing experience.
No, he doesn't. He wanted to start a UFC fighting program
He has
at
amazing
the FBI.
experience. I got 5 words in. He was the most important thing. He was a public defender.
That's not what that's not the job of the FBI. He has no experience in the FBI.
He was a public defender and he was a special prosecutor.
Was he ever a member of the FBI?
No, but
He doesn't have the merit to have
hold
that
on a
job. All right,
second.
let's do another example.
But
What
I'm
experience
not
does
done.
Linda McMahon?
I'm not
what
done.
experience does Linda McMahon have to run?
She ran the
Department of
Small
Education?
Business Administration in the first term, which is a big organization. She was the head of the SBA.
When she was the CEO of
No, hold on.
WWE,
I'm not even talking about that. She ran the SBA. By
one
the way,
of her employees was engaging in pedophilic behavior with their
Well,
ring boys
okay,
under her watch.
I'm not going to defend
and now
that,
she
but
is somehow qualified to be responsible for all of
one
America's
second.
children?
Hold on a second. She was previously a cabinet secretary and then became a different cabinet secretary. That's like a one-to-one.
Yeah, and then before that, she was enabling a pedophile.
So what you're first of all, I don't know about that instance. If that's true, that's wrong.
That's very much true. How do you not know about that, Charlie?
I don't
it's
know
like
about
very much
Okay. Again,
public information. It's really important to know that the head of the Department of Education is currently in a lawsuit.
But let me finish the point, which is that the WWE can be easily made fun of. That's a serious business, though. It's a multi-billion-dollar business.
It is, that engaged in pedophilic activities.
Of which I denounce. I don't support that. However, she was head of the SBA.
Okay, I'm not going to let her slander the WWE like that. Just because someone or 2 or 3 people engage in some certain actions doesn't mean the whole company engaged in those actions. It's very stupid for you to conclude that because she has some sort of link to the person who engaged in these actions or who allegedly engaged in these actions is also responsible for that. That's just pure stupidity and doesn't even make sense and doesn't even bolster her point as to whether someone has experience or not because she wasn't charged with anything. So that's just stupid. But once again, stupid people saying stupid things.
Of which I denounce. I don't support that. However, she was head of the SBA, and now she's head of the Department of Education. Tell me another unqualified person.
Another unqualified person?
Marco Rubio
unqualified?
Okay.
No, actually, I think Marco is slightly more qualified.
Let's talk about Hegseth. He's the most qualified because he actually accepted enemy fire and lost loved ones and friends of his own.
That doesn't make you...
Hold on.
Dude,
to run the U.S. military, to be a warrior, not just an academic general, that's very important.
Look, dude, I respect veterans. My boyfriend's a veteran. I love veterans. That being said, not every person who is a veteran is qualified to run the Department of Defense.
I think he's also shown the last couple of weeks he's doing a pretty phenomenal job. The prior head of the DOD, Lloyd Austin, could barely climb up a flight of stairs. Pete Hegseth is up at 5 a.m. doing PT with the troops, running miles, and then doing an entire day at the Pentagon. And you might say that doesn't matter. I actually think physical fitness and being a good example to our troops is very important when you're the head of the Department of Defense.
Okay, but being the head of the Department of Defense is not about doing push-ups.
Hold on, but first of all, it's actually just refreshing versus Mark Milley and Lloyd Austin. But secondly, I will say the criteria is that he's a warrior's warrior. He's someone that was in the front lines and actually received medals and knows what it's like to lose loved ones. And the other people that were qualified, Naima, were people that got us in endless wars, people that never saw combat. I think it's finally time that we have someone in combat that runs the Secretary of Defense. I think that's immensely qualified.
Okay, sure. So we'll take Pete Hegseth for Department of Defense.
Yes, he's doing a great job.
We'll take someone who enabled pedophilia for the Department of Education.
That's an unfair
We'll take Kash Patel, who has never worked in the FBI.
He was a prosecutor, so the FBI's a...
Dude, do you remember what he said when he first got the nomination?
Do you want to go back to Kash Patel for a second?
He said, yeah. I'm like, this is sick.
Okay, can we go back to Kash Patel, though?
That is like insanely inappropriate.
Can we go back to Kash Patel? So he was himself a prosecutor that tried cases. That's a law enforcement mechanism.
Yeah, this girl makes no sense and she looks like the Predator from Alien and Predator, and I don't think people should listen to anything she has to say. And I'm not trying to be insulting towards her by pointing towards her appearance. I just thought it was a funny thing to say. But yeah, DEI is a bunch of nonsense, and of course people are going to be discriminated against based on DEI, so I don't even know how she could miss such a simple thing. But once again, with stupid people, they always miss simple things.